Hello. This session is focused on the curriculum-based assessments and performance matters for secondary instrumental and vocal music teachers. This training should be completed before any technical training in performance matters so that you have a sense of the test content and how it aligns with your curriculum. As an inclusive welcome, take a moment to think of something new that you experienced recently. How often are you trying new things? How does it feel to read a new book or go to a new place? As secondary performing arts teachers and as a content office, we are both moving into new territory with the use of curriculum-based assessments in performance matters. Take a moment to read through the outcomes for this session. By the end of this training, you should be familiar with the content of the curriculum-based assessments in performance matters and understand the timeline for implementation with your students. Since we are jumping into new territory with the launch of performance matters assessments for secondary teachers, it is important to know why we are engaging in the work. As a content office, we started conversation in March of 2024 with our department chairs and content leaders to determine the best approach for the migration of curriculum-based assessments to performance matters. We collected their feedback and used that as our starting point in working as a team of writers. The feedback from our department chairs is synthesized on the right-hand side of this slide. Additionally, Performance Matters is used across content areas as our district assessment platform. The system allows for the use and analysis of assessments to inform instruction. It is embedded in the Schoology environment and integrates with your Schoology gradebook. As a district, we can now track and better articulate high expectations and success criteria for student learning. During the summer and into the fall, we worked with a team of assessment writers to develop assessment items in Performance Matters. This team should be commended for their ability to not only speak directly to our curriculum, but also for the speed at which they learned how to build in Performance Matters. Thank you to our development team. Once the team finished creating items, the Office of Performing Arts developed tests using the assessment items and rubrics. This training, as well as any courses referenced, are available in the BCPS Office of Performing Arts Professional Learning Schoology course. By second semester, the Performance Matters assessment guides and resources will move to the appropriate Schoology curriculum groups. The assessments in Performance Matters are a part of the BCPS curriculum. Additionally, the Office of Performing Arts will offer virtual drop-in support sessions in January for teachers. These are optional and will be offered at various times during the instructional day to align with planning periods. Please visit the Performing Arts weekly updates for more information as we get closer to January. Additional technical training resources are in the Office of Performing Arts Professional Learning Schoology course. There are links to videos on the following topics: attaching assessments to Schoology courses, Assessment Manager, online scoring, and OLA student status. We also encourage you to join the Schoology course dedicated to the Performance Matters training. The access code is on this slide. Lastly, you can direct technical support questions to the following inbox: pm@bcps.org. Now, we are going to walk you through each assessment guide. The assessment guide gives you a list of the curriculum-based assessments, their test number which will be used for searching in Performance Matters, and instructions on which tests need to be administered when. The assessment guides are available in the Office of Performing Arts Professional Learning course in the folder for November 1st Professional Development Day in the subfolder for each Performance Matters session. Take a moment to find the links to those guides. You are not expected to administer any test until second semester. On the assessment guide, if you see semester 2 or at any time and should do for a group of assessments, then you should plan to administer those assessments for this school year. If you see can do, those assessments are optional. If you see semester 1, those assessments are optional. The administration window and timeline will change for the 2025-26 school year once we have had a chance to get started with a smaller number of should do assessments. If an assessment is listed as a diagnostic or pre-assessment, it should be ungraded or practice. If an assessment is listed as a performative or summative assessment, it would be graded as a minor or major grade respectively. For grades 6 through 8 chorus, the rhythmic assessments are based on the levels of choral sight reading published by the Maryland Choral Educators Association. The assessments focused on rhythmic skill development and progress from level 1 to level 4. The questions from the level 1 assessment are used for levels 2 through 4. For levels 2 through 4, additional test questions are added to reflect the corresponding level of sight reading and to show the skill progression. For this year, you must administer both a diagnostic and formative assessment for at least one of your chorus classes. It is recommended that you use this assessment to prepare for sight reading and adjudication, and it will align to your performance level. You can use these assessments to gauge rhythmic understanding. The grade 9 through 12 chorus assessments follow the same format as the middle school assessments. The levels are based on the Maryland Choral Educators Association choral sight reading progression published at the state level. You have the option to administer more than one level. You should administer at least one level using both the diagnostic and formative assessment. It is recommended that you use this assessment to prepare for sight reading and adjudication, and it will also align to your performance level. You can use these assessments to gauge rhythmic understanding. What level of sight reading should your students be prepared to read during adjudication? Administer the corresponding pre- and post-assessment. The grades 6 through 8 instrumental music assessments were created using content vocabulary and in alignment to content standards. There is not a document or paper version of this assessment outside of Performance Matters. The assessment that corresponds with the correct instrumentation should be administered to grade 8 students during second semester. There are also assessments for orchestra students listed on the guide. Both band and orchestra students in 8th grade should complete the diagnostic and formative assessments that match their instrumentation. For grade 9 through 12 instrumental music assessments, the should do assessments are listed on this slide. These assessments can be administered in the same way you would give a playing test. For the pre-assessment, students sight read or have limited practice time with the music. The post-test is formative and should be administered after the students have received feedback and instruction on the repertoire selected. This can be adjudication repertoire, concert repertoire, or any other repertoire that the teacher chooses at the assessment material. Please take time to preview and review the rubric. Students should be aware of the rubric as well. There are similar assessments listed for middle school, band, and orchestra. For middle school, the performance skills pre- and post assessments would be optional for this year. Now that we have walked you through the assessment content, let's preview the assessments in Performance Matters. Performance Matters is an app in the BCPS app library in Office 365. You do not open Performance Matters in Schoology. You must open it through Office.com or Office 365. Look for the Performance Matters logo in the alphabetical list of apps. Once you have Performance Matters open in a browser tab, you should see the dashboard, which looks like the image at the bottom of the slide. To find a test that is listed on the assessment guide, you need to copy the test number first. Then, follow the directions on this slide to search using the Assessment Manager. Once you have located a test, you should now take some time to explore or preview the test. You do not need to submit your answers, but you can click through and answer the test questions. You should click the play button to preview the test. Make sure you have previewed all of the should do assessments that are listed in the assessment guide. Now, take note of what you notice about the tests. You might already have ideas for how and when to administer the tests. If you have any content questions, please email ssinkowski@bcps.org. If you have any technical questions, you will use pm@bcps.org. For the next part of the training, we will focus on the implementation of the Performance Matters assessments. You have from now until second semester to become more familiar with the tests and with Performance Matters. After today's training, please make sure to complete technical training either in person, which is a preferred option, or using the Performance Matters Schoology course. Once second semester starts at the end of January, you can administer the Performance Matters assessments, which will be either third quarter or fourth quarter grades. You might want to align the assessments to the preparation for music adjudications. Those date ranges are listed on this slide. Take a moment to read the suggested implementation for the grade 6-8 chorus assessments. This information is also listed in the assessment guide. The success criteria for 8th grade chorus students regarding the rhythmic skill level are listed on this slide. By the end of grade 8, students should demonstrate mastery of the level 4 rhythmic formative assessment. Take a moment to read the suggested implementation for the grades 9 through 12 chorus assessments. This information is also listed in the assessment guide. The success criteria for a high school chorus student regarding rhythmic skill level are listed on this slide. High school chorus students should work toward and demonstrate mastery of the level 6 rhythmic formative assessment. For grades 6 through 8 instrumental music, the theory and vocabulary diagnostic assessments are the must-do assessments for second semester. As mentioned previously, these assessments should be administered to grade 8 students. Grade 7 students can also take the assessment if enrolled in the same ensemble. Take a moment to read through this slide. The information on this slide is also in the assessment guide. For grades 9 through 12 instrumental music, the performance skills assessments are the must-do assessments for second semester. These assessments should be administered to students in band and orchestra. Take a moment to read through this slide. The information on this slide is also in the assessment guide. Now that you have a better sense of the content of the Performance Matters assessments, take some time to think through your long-range planning so that you know when you will administer the assessments. Listed on this slide are helpful calendar dates to consider. At this point, we hope you have generated some ideas about how to use the Performance Matters assessments with your students. Please take a moment to jot down any questions you may have so that you can connect with your department chair, another colleague, or the Performing Arts office. We understand that you may still have lingering questions about Performance Matters. Please make sure that you take the time to register for an in-person technical training or let the Office of Performing Arts know if you're having trouble registering. Please make sure to submit the form that indicates that you have completed this training. That form is linked in the Office of Performing Arts Professional Learning Schoology course. Questions regarding the assessment guides and/or the content of any assessment can be directed to the Office of Performing Arts. Technical questions regarding Performance Matters can be directed to pm@bcps.org. Thank you for completing the Performance Matters content training.